Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Moving to Sarasota. Today we're going to be talking about buying versus renting. Here in Sarasota, should you buy, should you rent? Stay tuned to find out. Alright guys, so like I said, today we're talking buy versus rent. I got Jake back with me here, mortgage loan officer over at Bell Bank Mortgage. He can shed some light on different obstacles that you might encounter on buying a home, but also I think he's really going to be able to uncover some stuff that maybe you guys think could be an obstacle, but actually isn't so much of a problem. Just different little things that he can break down for us. And then, overall, we're basically just talking about buying versus renting, what makes sense for you. And I know, like for me, to start off on the real estate side, I'm looking at price, I'm looking at location, I'm looking at what's best for you as my client, and just the rental market here in Sarasota right now, it's just kind of crazy. The prices that we're seeing. A lot of times you're not even thinking about buying, but really you could buy and end up spending less money and be in a better situation, build some equity for yourself, etc. So I'm gonna bounce it over to Jake here real quick. Let's say we're talking about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in the middle of Sarasota. Something that might cost you $2,000, $2,200, even maybe $2,400 a month to rent. What does that look like? Say a $275,000 house. What does that look like on a lending side?
Well, a lot of times, if a guy can qualify, or I shouldn't say qualify, if he can afford that to pay that in rent. I'm doing the same situation right now where the tenant is purchasing the house that he's lived in for a number of years, and he's putting minimal down and as required for the loan program, and his loan payment is going to be about $1,000 cheaper to own the home than it is to rent. The biggest obstacle I see is a lot of times for borrowers, it's not the actual qualifying, it's the ability to save the money for the down payments. And so you can come up with your down payment money from a variety of different options. You can't borrow it per se, but it can be secured borrowing. So first of all, it's very common for people to get a gift from a family member, whether it's a grandmother, a parent, a brother, sibling, anything along those lines. A lot of people will borrow from their retirement accounts, not liquidate, but you can borrow from your retirement accounts, and then you're paying yourself back plus interest. And when you do it that way, there's no tax, doesn't trigger any tax liability.
Absolutely.
So we see that all of the time. You can borrow money on something that you own and it's secured and we can track it. For example, if a guy has a boat or a car or a motorcycle that's paid for, he could in theory go and refinance that and get the cash on that. Now, that's going to trigger an additional debt for the debt to income purposes because the minimum monthly payment on that now, but all of a sudden he's got the cash on hand for the down payment. From a minimal down payment perspective, you're looking at 3% on a conventional loan, 3.5% on an FHA loan. So, it amazes me, but I still talk to people that think you have to have a full 20%.
Yeah.
And that's just not true. And you are going to be subject to some mortgage insurance when you put less than 20% down, but it's so affordable.
You're still going to be able to come in under what that potential rent payment is probably going to be. Almost certainly.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And not only, when you do rent here in Sarasota, I'm not discouraging you from doing that. I think if you're coming here from out of town, you're relocating, maybe it makes sense to rent for a year, kind of feel for the area. But almost all the time it really doesn't, because you could always just sell the home, if you do choose to move. But also you got to look at, even when you're renting, you're going to be paying the utilities still. You're going to be still paying that rent, so you might as well let that money work for you. And you're still going to have to pay, some amount, probably not as much as you would if you were renting, but even though you are still paying an amount, all that money is kind of building for you, and you have appreciation potentially on your property. In a place like Sarasota, we've seen rapid appreciation over the past few years, and so there's a lot of things that go into it. So yeah, guys, like we said, we'll just keep this video short. Jake had mentioned, you could put 3% down. Like that's a pretty crazy low number. On a $300,000 house, you're talking about only putting potentially $9,000 down. That's a pretty low number. That's a pretty manageable number for a lot of people. Maybe set something like that as a goal for yourself to save up to, and then work through with someone like Jake or a third-party source to kind of build that credit and smooth over any kind of errors you might have or problems, and maybe go buy that home if it makes sense for you. But just wanted to touch on that briefly and show you guys kind of some comparisons of what the potential possibilities are for buying a home, and we can talk more in depth sometime about it. But if you do have any lending questions, or hey, can I qualify for this, or how much do I need to save, etc., go ahead and hit Jake up. His contact info is in the description below, as well as probably on the screen right now. And on the other side of things, if you already know, or you have seen houses that you like, or you want to move the area, or just want advice on different locations and stuff, feel free to reach out to me. Facebook, Instagram, text me, call me, whatever the case is. We'll definitely help you out. And other than that, if you guys can like and subscribe, would really appreciate it. Help me grow the channel. And the link to our Facebook group is in the description below also. So would be awesome if you could join that group. It's been growing like crazy, and trying to keep the train rolling. But if Jake doesn't have anything else to add, I think we're...
I've just got one quick thing that most of the people that I talk to that aren't sure whether they can buy or are in a position to buy are way more pleasantly surprised once we get done talking than they are disappointed.
Exactly, yeah. And even if you don't qualify right now, maybe Jake says, oh, well, if you do this, this, and this, you can qualify, and oh, that's only going to take 3 months or 6 months or something. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and it's definitely a lot more possible than people think a lot of times. So with that being said, we will see you guys in the next video.